This is Teresa Fisher. I want to welcome everyone to the M365Philly virtual SPSPhilly event sponsored by the Tri-State Office 365 Users Group, along with Soho Dragon and the tech platform where tech meets. We are very happy to have everyone in attendance. I want to remind everyone to use the chat box to provide any feedback, ask any questions. We're very happy to address that. Anything that is not addressed today, we'll get back to you, I'm sure. Please welcome Chris Hoard, who will be presenting about Teams and Stream, which are better together.
Thank you ever so much. Welcome to this session. Thank you ever so much for your time in coming today to learn a little bit about integrating Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Stream. Just before we get underway, I'd just like to thank all of the organizers at this event. The Philly Virtual Summit is an amazing opportunity to be here. Thank you to the organizers and also to the sponsors. I would like to think this is the first of many times that I can come back to the tri-state area. So let's get into it. What to expect from today's session. We're going to be breaking it down into three parts. First of all, why use Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Stream together? What benefits can we get in doing so? Part two is going to look at how we're going to do that, all the different ways that we can use them in combination and which you may not have used before or realized the ways in which we can do so. And third of all, to finish off this session, we're going to look at a few call outs of other functionality that may support you in using them together, but also the future development, where this is going to lead in the future, because there's some pretty exciting times ahead. This session is a level 200 session, which means it's a little bit of an introduction and with a bit of technical too. It's not going to go too far into the reads, but it's going to give you enough to be able to go away, get hands-on after the session today. So let's get started out. We're talking about the why, and rather than talking about Stream or talking about Teams to start with, we're going to talk about the importance of video, the thing that combines the two services together. So why is video important? Now, when I do my presentations, I always like to have facts and stats. I've got that kind of mind. So we can look at why video is important by looking at the statistics, and here you will see some in front of you. So let's start in the left, moving over to the right. And we're going to look at video in terms of consumption. People like to use video. I think we all know this. We spend parts or a lot of our lives online. We use public video platforms such as YouTube and Vimeo. People like to consume video content. And this statistic that was provided by Cisco a few years ago was truly amazing. 70% of global internet consumption is estimated to be video content. That's a huge amount that people are consuming, and a big reason why people go online, to be able to consume content through video. It's a very accessible and enjoyable medium to be able to transmit data, transmit our ideas, transmit what we want to be able to say to people. Now, moving on to production. People also love to produce video, and people choose to produce video. And this statistic by Cisco, again from the same report, immediately jumped out at me. It would take 5 million years to watch every video that crosses global IP networks per month. That's an absolutely astronomical figure. Video is a medium and format of which people not only like to consume, but also like to produce, to transmit their ideas or the information that they are trying to get across to other people. Now, in addition to audiences liking to consume and produce video, we can start to think about video as a medium for transmitting that data, the efficiency of the medium itself. Now, last year, in an article by Live Science, which is a blog and that you can go and read online, in a study of video, it was said that it takes 13 milliseconds for the brain to process an image This is 60,000 times faster than processing text. So video is a very efficient form of being able to transmit data. And lastly, in addition to all of the other reasons why video is important, video really sits at the center of our culture. Now, we're all from different nations, but we all have the same approach to video. It is generally perceived in a positive light, and typically in every culture globally, there is a high consumption and production of video. You yourselves probably watch online video once, twice, 3 times a week at least. And in the study by the Guardian newspaper here in the UK, one that was undertaken last year, it was identified that 1 in 3 British people watch at least one online video a week. Now, we're a country of 75 million people here in the UK. So if you think about that's about 25 million people at least watching video once a week. Again, that could be on a public video platform such as YouTube or elsewhere. So video, in terms of being a means to communicate, is very, very important. I think overall that the success and the importance of video is really underlined by the success of YouTube as a video platform. Now, I've chosen to use the example of YouTube because, again, this is based upon the stats. So if we look at the growth of social media platforms over the last 15 years, then YouTube has trumped them all. There has been a growth 500 million users. If you would have asked me that question without seeing those statistics, I would have probably said that either Facebook or Twitter would have had larger growth. Well, YouTube has more than both of them combined. Now, some more stats looking into the YouTube public video platform: 1 billion unique monthly visitors, nearly 1 out of every 2 internet users uses YouTube, which means that they are using it to be able to consume and produce their video. Of all the statistics on this page, the one that jumps out at me more than any other is that YouTube reaches more US adults aged 18 to 34 than any cable network. So in the younger generation, the generation that's grown up with the internet, that's grown up with YouTube, that's grown up with Vimeo and now TikTok, people are, or should I say the younger generation, is choosing video over other forms of communication and traditional forms of broadcasting. Now, in terms of video, if you're a business, why not use YouTube anyway? Because this starts to begin as to why we would use Microsoft Stream. Why not just, for all the video within our business, put it onto a public video platform? Well, 4 reasons that I have when talking to customers are as follows. The first is privacy. When we're creating videos for our business, we could be creating IP for our business. We could be creating things that we don't want everyone to see. So privacy is a big concern. When I'm having a conversation with a customer, I say, where do you want to put that video? And one of the things that they say is they don't want to put it on YouTube or Vimeo because they do not want other organizations to be able to look at their content. In addition to privacy, the same applies to compliance. Some businesses may need all of their video content housed in a particular way, in a particular geographical location. They might need it to go into something like Stream for compliance or even security reasons. Third, I often hear about productivity. When customers say to me about not using YouTube, one of the largest reasons is because it contains videos from everyone else, from a whole load of other organizations. Now they look at those platforms and they think that their users are going to start using YouTube, and then they're going to drift, they're going to go off, they're going to look at other videos that are not pertinent to the work that they're needing to do on a day-to-day basis. So by having their own private video platform with Stream, that is something that really appeals to them for all of their video content. And finally, this might seem like a strange reason, but the 4th reason is what we call equity. That means everyone within a business or an organization having equal access to those assets. Again, if we go back to a public video platform like YouTube, some users find it really hard to navigate that or to find and search for what it is that they're looking for. By having a private video platform, we can make it very easy for users in our organization to be able to access those assets, but access them as equals. So having a look about of reasons about why people would want a private video platform instead of putting video onto a public video platform like YouTube. It's also about Stream being a great application in itself. So there are many reasons as to why Stream is great, but I'm going to call out 4 specifically here. The first is that Stream as an application within Microsoft 365 is really robust in terms of video formats. Whether you record your videos in FLV, in MXF, in WAV files, Stream will be able to accommodate them all because it containerizes all those different video formats to play and run through Stream. Secondly, Stream is really high performing because it uses what we call adaptive bitrate streaming to adapt to the network conditions. If you're trying to watch your video from a place where your network is contested or congested, then it is going to be able to accommodate for that. There is AI that runs in the background to measure the bandwidth and optimize it for your viewing. So you get a good high performance viewing experience wherever it is that you're accessing that video. Third, Stream as an application is completely scalable. Out of the box, you can integrate it with enterprise content delivery networks such as Hive, Ramp, or Collective. When you look at a video, when you're watching a video, that's called a unicast stream. It's a one-on-one connection to the video. But if we're scaling it up to 30 or 40,000 users, we can use with these ECDN platforms something called multicasting, which means that it's not going to place a massive strain on the bandwidth from watching the video with that many users. Lastly, and probably the one that's most important, is the security of Microsoft Stream. It has AES 128 encryption, both in transit and at rest. Your videos are secure, and it's not just about the encryption, it's also about all of the other security measures within Microsoft 365 that you're enabling, things like multi-factor authentication, like conditional access, like using Intune on your devices when using the Stream application. By using Stream, by using Microsoft 365, you can bring all the security measures from Microsoft 365 and bring them down onto Microsoft Stream. So looking at why video is important and looking at the benefits of Microsoft Stream, we can now begin to look at using Microsoft Stream and Microsoft Teams together. And this is all about surfacing that video through Microsoft Teams. Now, in order to be able to easily think about this, we can think about Stream as being the place where all of our video assets, all of our content is stored. This is like the back end, whereas Teams is the front end. It's where we want to be able to deliver that video. There are a number of high-level benefits for both the team and the organization. If we look at the benefits of the team, we have consumption, production, efficiency, and culture, these things which we talked about earlier. If I take my videos and Stream and pipe them up through Microsoft Teams, then it makes it really easy for users within my team to be able to consume those video assets. Rather than have to go out into Microsoft Stream and move out of context, I'm actually bringing the video assets to them where they are actually working. Secondly, in terms of production, we can use Stream to be able to produce and then easily push all of our recordings and assets into Microsoft Teams. We have all the tools that we need in order to be able to produce a video and to be able to then have the rest of the team consume it. Thirdly, in terms of efficiency, it goes back to that point of not having to move out of your stream of work, out of your stream of thinking into a different browser session or into a different application. By bringing them together, you are making things a lot more efficient. If we can do things quicker, we can free up time to be able to concentrate on other tasks. We don't want our users to be spending a lot of time navigating between different applications several times a day. Finally, because video is so ingrained in our culture, then the members of the team are often receptive to it, especially people in those younger generation. We don't just want to use Teams to have them packed full of documents, Word documents, PowerPoint documents, Excel documents. We also want to have it filled with video that people have produced and can consume. This goes down very well with younger members of the team, but also as well is it diversifies all of the different ways with which to transmit that data. So moving from the high-level benefits of the team, we can also look at the high-level benefits of the org. We've already talked about privacy. This is a big tick in the box for the organization that says all of our video assets can be housed within Stream, within Microsoft 365, and that teams can consume them without having to go to a public video platform. In the same measure, because we've got housed them in Microsoft 365, we can bring all the security and the compliance down. If I'm a chief operational officer or a chief technical officer, it makes it easier conversation to be able to say this has the 128 encryption, this has multi-factor authentication, this has conditional access. And last but not least, it's a big tick in the box in terms of the return on investment within Microsoft 365. It's amazing how many organizations that I've talked to that are paying for a separate video application or solution. They're not even using it within Microsoft 365, or they're putting all of their videos on YouTube, so they're not really getting any return on using Stream, but they're also, in doing so, not getting the most out of Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is ready for all of your video to be surfaced through it. So how do users typically use Stream and Teams together? We're going to start moving on to talk about the how. So today, when I engage with organizations, they do use Stream and Team together, but they do it in what I would say is very simplistic ways. The first is typically through meeting recording. So if you're familiar with how to record a meeting within Microsoft Teams, when you start that meeting recording and when you stop it, the video is then processed and then it is housed within Microsoft Stream. So organizations typically use Microsoft Teams to capture, record that video, which then goes off into Microsoft Stream. And then typically the organizations then go into Stream to be able to view that video later on. So I'm just going to show you now. If I jump into my demo environment and I go up to the calendar, I have a meeting that's set up. I'm going to join that meeting. Okay, I'm not going to allow it to use my microphone or camera because I'm in this session. Okay, but I'm going to join that meeting. So there I go. I'm in the meeting. I click on the three dots for the more actions, and then I start that meeting recording. I then have that meeting with all of the attendees or my teammates. You can see that the notification up the top states that I'm recording. And then once the meeting finishes, I click on the more options again, and I then stop the meeting recording. You can now see the meeting stopped. It will be processed and saved in Stream. So if I go into Microsoft Stream a little bit later on, I will be able to see the video in there. I'm just going to pop out of the meeting. Great. Now people tend to use that for meetings, but a lot of organizations don't recognize that they can use it for all different, I would say, types of collaboration. So we can think about going beyond meetings to embracing huddles, whether we want to do product demos, whether we're doing seminars or instructions or training, whether we're having support sessions, whether we're doing whiteboarding sessions or even doing interviews. We can really broaden the way that we're doing recording in Microsoft Teams today. Doesn't just have to be for those meetings, doesn't just have to be for the SLT meeting or the ops meeting. We can really broaden out the scenarios. Secondly, organizations tend to use very simple video sharing. So once they have recorded that video, if they want to share it with the team, they typically share videos within the chat. Now I'm just going to show you this scenario. So here is my video within Microsoft Stream. They will come down to share and they will get the share URL. I'm just going to copy that. They will then come into Microsoft Teams. If I jump into my team, they will paste the link. They will put something in there. This is my video. And then they will post. But then if I click the link, I'm not actually going to consume it in Microsoft Teams. I'm going to get them pulled back out to the Microsoft Stream portal. So this really isn't sharing or consuming a video within Teams. This is really signposting to that video in Microsoft Stream. So between the scenarios of that kind of narrow meeting recording and simple video sharing, we're not really using Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Stream together in any significant way. So we need to start pivoting our thinking. We want to move from low to high utilization. We want to have more value and more return from using these applications together. Both of the examples that I gave are right down here at the bottom in terms of what I would call narrow produce and consume scenarios. It's low utilization. It's using them together, but it's kind of not. I'm producing in Microsoft Teams. I'm then going to Microsoft Stream. I'm not really using them. I'm not really meshing them together. Now, we can start by embracing not just meetings, but training, but product demonstrations, all those different scenarios I've talked about. And then we can have wide production and narrow consume, but it's still not really where we want to be, because although we are recording meetings or we're recording training or we're recording product demonstrations, we're again still not really using and meshing the applications together. Where we ultimately want to get to in terms of utilization and the highest value is wide production and consumption scenarios. So we're doing our recording, we're kind of making very broad recording scenarios right across our organization. It's all coming into Microsoft Stream, but then we're taking it back from Microsoft Stream and surfacing it into Microsoft. That's really key here, because I'm doing all this recording, but I don't just want to use Teams for storage or to dip into it later on. If there are valuable video in my organization, I want to share it back into Teams. I want my teams and the people within inside my organization to begin to consume it. So it's not just about wide production, it's also about high consumption. And then we are beginning to start using the two together. So that is the kind of where we really start getting into the how, because how do we do that? Now, there are some powerful possibilities here to be able to increase the consumption of video through Microsoft Teams. I'm going to show you 5 today. The first way to do that is through stream channels, and if you use Teams as a modern intranet. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you how to basically surface video in stream watch lists. Videos can also be surfaced within Microsoft Teams through Microsoft Forms if we do quizzes or series. Fourth, we can do this by the shared system audio function within Teams. And finally, is video-based applications using Power Apps. So we're going to get into it now in terms to be able to demo all of these. So let's start at the first way we can surface video in Teams with channels. Channels are an organizational method for video. They can be assigned to individuals or groups, and they're set up as tabs. So if you look at the picture on the right hand side within Microsoft Teams, you can see that all of the, or a set of videos are collected together. I'm going to show you how to be able to build this stream channel. So if I come into my team and I click on this tab, SPSPhilly, you can see my stream channel here within Teams, and it contains 8 videos. All videos of interest to my team. They're all based on German tourism. How did I get to this place? Well, it actually starts outside in Microsoft Stream. So in Microsoft Stream, the first thing we do is that we create, and we create a group. Now this is a stream group. It's linked to a Microsoft 365 group. So I'm just going to create one now. I'm going to call this SPSPhilly. I'm then going to have a private group. I'm then going to add the people who I want access to those videos. Now I've already populated people inside my environment. Okay. So I'm going to add Adam. I'm going to add Vesku. I'm going to add Chris. Okay, so they're the people who I want to be able to access my videos. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go and create that. So that's now just creating. Okay. If I then, so I've now created that group, the SPSPhilly group. Now, if I come back into the Microsoft 365 admin portal and I go to groups, it's going to refresh. It might take a minute or so. Oh, there it is. It's already created. You can see that that's created my Microsoft 365 group. What I'm going to do now is select it. I go to Microsoft Teams, and then I can create a team. You can see that that is now creating. It's successful by this little icon of Teams. So that you can see it's got a team that's connected to the Microsoft 365 group. And you can see that this has now been created. So I've created, first of all, my stream group. I then come and create my stream channel. So I'm going to create a channel. I'm going to call this the SPSPhilly channel, so I know which one it is. And I'm then going to say, I want the group that I've just created to be able access to this stream channel. I then create the channel. You can see when I first created the stream channel, there are no videos inside it. So what we then do is we go to content and videos. There's the video recording that I just recorded in the meeting. I'm going to go and edit that. I am then going to give that channel permission on this video. And then I'm going to apply. So that's all done. So the final thing that we do in order to be able to surface this within Microsoft Teams, I come back to my team. I then click on the Stream tab. I then search for the channel that I created. Important note is that you have to put the whole name of the channel that you created, not just a part of it, otherwise it won't find it. And then I click save. Now you can see that my channel with my videos is now accessible through Microsoft Teams. Now, this was a very quick run through in how to create it. If I go back to my one in my other team, you can populate this with potentially hundreds of videos. And now that leads to all of these different possible use scenarios. You can have stream channels that have playlists for teams that are based upon the team members and individuals. You can use them for learning paths. So imagine that you're training up your team. You can then put 10, a dozen, 2 dozen video in there for them to be able to complete their training. You can organize all of your meeting recordings so that you can access them easily from Teams at a later date. Or you can even have them as project references. You can have them even as stream channels that have product demonstrations, tech demonstrations. The limit is really down to your imagination. Now, in addition to channels, we also can surface it if you use Teams as an intranet. So this is all about accessing video on your modern intranet in Teams and we do this via SharePoint. So in SharePoint, there is a stream web part. That's extremely useful for us because Teams and Stream has a really tight integration. I'm going to show you now again inside the demo environment. So if I click on Teams and then I go into my team, so here was my stream channel as I showed you for the last demonstration. With this one, if I click on this tab where I'm surfacing my SharePoint site, you can see that I can then put or surface my stream videos through the SharePoint page and then add the SharePoint page to Microsoft Teams. That is a great way. Just click on it. It will then begin to run my video. This is a team site. I can also do this for a communication site. If I scroll down, here you can see that the communication site again has been embedded within Microsoft Teams. I then have my stream videos. And again, if I click on there, I can then access my video. Now, the big benefit about this is that when you are configuring the stream web part within SharePoint, you can do it for a single video, for a whole stream channel, or for all the videos within your organization. You are bringing your videos to your users. And the great thing is that, as said, you can do this through team sites or communication sites. But if you are moving into that area of embracing modern intranet with Microsoft Teams and with SharePoint, then use and leverage the stream web part to surface those videos as part of your modern intranet. So that was point one. We move on to point two, which is watch lists in Stream. Watch lists are personalized watch lists for a specific member of the team. Now, within Teams, I've shown you previously channels and intranet through tabs within a specific team. But watch lists are different. These are videos for the individual user. Now, this is on the left-hand side in the app rail. You can see I've got Microsoft Stream here. And here are my videos. Now, how did I get to that point? Well, if I go back, I can do it in a few ways, actually. If I go to Teams, and let's say that I'm in my stream channel, and let's say I'm watching this video. I might need to step away, but I don't want to lose that video or the fact that I may need to come back to it in the future. All I do is I click on the add to watch list. And then if I go back, it then appears on my personal watch list. Again, if I come into the stream portal and I see a great video that I want to add to later on, I simply click Add to Watch List. If I go refresh this up the top right, again, it's now added to my watch list. I can get rid of those videos very easily once I've finished watching the video by clicking Remove from my watch list. So using watch lists is really, really effective. How do we add stream on the left-hand side? All we need to do is click the more options. It's not there because I've already added it, but if I was to unpin that, and then click stream, and then I would pin that to the left-hand bar. So watch lists can be really, really effective in certain scenarios, like if I want to catch up on videos. It can be used for self-paced development. I can go through my organization's videos and then add them to your watch list and go through them for personal development. One of the good ways that I've seen this being used is with canned demos. So if I'm in a Teams meeting and I've got a canned demo that I want to put out to the rest of the attendees, I can do that easily through going to my watch list. And last of all, it's also a portfolio of favorite videos that you might like to either watch or browse within your own personal time. I've seen, particularly during the COVID-19 period, organizations record quite humorous videos in order to put up and lighten the mood for their users or advice for their users. This is a great way to use watch lists. Number 3, quizzes and series. So quizzes and series, we use not just Teams and Stream, but we also use Microsoft Forms. This is about embedding video within forms for learning or constructing logical series of videos. You can see from the screenshot here what this looks like. We're going to take a look at this now in the demo environment. So if I come back up to my team and I go to quiz, you can see that I've set this up beforehand. I've essentially embedded the videos into Microsoft Forms. Now, this can be used in a learning context. This can be used in a meeting to test people's knowledge about the meeting. I've got a video, and then I have my questions after it, all embedded within a form. With series, this is embedding several series or several videos in a logical order. This could be used for training, this could be used for orientation purposes, but they're put the videos back to back in a logical order. It could be used for example, for a learning path. Now, if I jump into Microsoft Forms here, I will show you how I created them. So if you go to quiz, I'm just going to open up that form. You can see there is my video, there is my questions. It is really easy to be able to get video into forms. You do this if I go to add new, you go to the rating question, which you'll see with a thumbs up. Why would you do that? Because on the right hand side here, if I can insert media, which means I can insert a video. So as said here, you can paste a Microsoft Stream or YouTube URL. So if we go back into Stream, and if I go again to my share link and then add it into Forms, I then add the video into my form. The same applies for series. I do exactly the same with series. I just do it with several videos instead of asking questions. Once I've created my quiz or my series, I then am in Teams. I click on the add. I then click on Forms. I then add an existing form which I created in Forms. I'm going to select the quiz and then click Save. And there is my quiz that has surfaced. Again, the same with series. So quizzes and series are all about embedding video in forms and then surfacing them up through Microsoft Teams. As said, we use it for assessment for learning, for higher order learning, for either the logical, sequential, or thematic ordering of video. We're using forms in a kind of intermediate way, a bridger between Teams and Microsoft Stream. We've looked at 3 ways we can surface videos within Microsoft Teams so far. The fourth is what we call shared system audio. Now, with shared system audio, this is a feature that allows you to not only show video, but to play the audio of the actual video. So prior to this feature being introduced into Microsoft Teams, you could show video within meeting, but you couldn't hear the audio. This came in about, I would say, 9 months to a year. And since then, you've not only been able to play video, you've been able to also stream the audio so that all the attendees can hear it too. Now, if you use this together with, for example, watch list, this can be very effective. So I'm just going to show this now. I'm going to turn system audio on. I'm going to come to my watch list. I'm going to then play this video.
Munich is considered Germany's most livable city. While packed with history, it's also this country's Hollywood and...
If you are in a Teams meeting, you will be able to hear the audio. This feature has also been added to live events. But the use scenario for this shared system audio means is that it's richer content in meetings, richer content in training or events, using video within meetings. Don't just have meetings be death by PowerPoint events. Use rich content, use video. You don't just have to use video within Microsoft Stream. The shared system audio will mean if you go to a web page like YouTube, you will be able to play videos there and the audio be heard by attendees too. I use shared system audio along with watch lists and stream channels, typically for canned demos that I would give to customers. So if I'm doing a technical demonstration, sometimes we don't want to rely on the technology when we're giving demos. We can create the recording and then play the recording during the actual event, during the meeting. The last way in which we can surface video within Microsoft Stream is doing so through video-based applications. So this is doing this through Power Apps and then adding the Power Apps into Microsoft Teams. If I go back into my demo environment, I'm going to go to my team. I'm going to then go to this tab here called Bio. This is the Power Apps that I created. If I go to Start and then I click on the first one, Adam, here is a stream video that is within Power Apps itself.
I have Adam Deltinger here with.
So how did I do that? Well, in Power Apps, if I go into the editor, okay, it's going to ask me to sign in. Here we go. This is I've just created this app for demo purposes, so it took me all of 45 minutes to create. The first screen is just a splash page with a navigation button. The second is a gallery with users, and then the third is the actual information, including the video. This app is designed, as it is called, Bio, for all the biographies of people within the team. Teams does not have this functionality. You can see the team members, but you can't see any information about them, what it is that they've done, what projects it is that they've worked on. So I decided to create this app called Bio. As said, it's got a splash screen, it's got a name of all the people within my team, and then thirdly, it's then got their information, including a description about them, a video of their work, and the customer that they are worked with. Once I created that app, what I then did in Power Apps is then go and add to team, which I download the app as a zip file. That'll start the download. There we go. I then take that zip, and in Teams, I then come down to apps on the left-hand side, and then I uploaded that application and it is there installed within Teams. Once it was installed within Teams, I added it. If I come to add and I select Power Apps, I click add. And then under My Apps, once this loads, taking some time, try it once more time, click Power Apps, there we go, my app shows up. I then add the app, I click Save, and then that app will be added as a tab. I can also add this application on the left hand side as a personal app. So I click Bio, I click the navigation for start, I then come through, and there we go. I can either click out to Adam's profile on Twitter, for example, or I can read up a little bit more about him. I can see the apps that all the projects he's worked on, and I can also, more importantly, make my video.
Adam Deltinger here with us.
So using video-based apps is really important. You can use it for learning. You can have apps for selling. You can have apps for instruction, apps for products. It is really defined by your thinking. Now we're just going to finish off.
I was going to interrupt you for a second. We do have a question.
Okay,
sure.
sure.
The questions. The question is, can I add videos to users' watch lists as a tenant admin?
Unfortunately not at this moment in time. It's only dependent on the user. But what I would do is, inside the Microsoft Tech community, there is a user voice which you can raise, and I'm pretty sure with inside, I will note that down where the Microsoft Stream user voice is, so you can search for it and then add your name to it, because that would be really good to push specific videos to watch lists for people to consume on a personal basis. Okay. So driving now to the end of the session with this, the third part in terms of call outs, things that can help you or surround this, and also the future development and direction. The first call out is really about the ability to be able to record in mobile. This has been delivered within the last few months. You can create personalized videos with text and emoji from your Stream mobile apps, which means is that you can record live events, you can record when you're on the go. When you record, this will upload directly into Stream, which you can then pull into Teams with the methods shown earlier. Secondly, this is an even more recent addition, is the ability to screen record straight through Microsoft Teams. Now, the thing that I love about this is that you can record short videos. You can then set an actual stream channel to add them to, which means is that once you've done your recording, if you've surfaced that stream channel within Microsoft Teams, you can record and then pipe these videos immediately into Teams for your users to be able to consume and add to their personal watch lists if needed. The third is the voice enhancement. So this is also being delivered this year. So a lot of development in this area. This is the elimination of background noise within videos. So if you've done your recording on, let's say, a construction site, or you're recording in a conference or recording in a crowd, it may not be so pertinent these days considering the COVID-19, but when things get back to normal, you can do your recording, apply your voice enhancement and eliminate that background noise. What that means is that this is just a nice enhancement to be able to improve the quality of the videos that you're piping into Teams. I'll give you a good example. I spoke previously at Microsoft Ignite, where the speaker area it can be quite noisy. So I can, for example, record on my mobile phone. I can use this voice enhancement facility and then pipe it back to my team who did not go to the event. So these are just all things that can surround both how to get surface your videos in Teams, but also to improve its quality. In terms of the future, where is it we're going? Well, the big feature that people want to see, and the one confirmed with Microsoft, is the ability to anonymously share video. Now, all the functionality that you've seen today and the ways to put video into Microsoft Teams, it all applies to users within the organization. So if I'm in my organization, only my co-workers and the people within inside my organization can see those videos. You cannot share videos anonymously with either guests or with users outside of your organization. So this is probably the last big reason to keep using those public video platforms. Now, this is something that many people have been asking about. They want to see this brought forward. Microsoft are under quite a bit of pressure to be able to deliver on this. They have confirmed that this is something that they're moving forward, and we expect to be able to see it in around about October, November time this year in Q4. It's on the Microsoft 365 roadmap, and with this ability, guests will be able to see video, anonymous users will be able to see video, so you can share that video with them, then they can come along and they can watch it without having access to your environment or being part of your organization. And with that, there would be no pressure on organizations to have to use public platforms anymore for people outside of their org. But also as well, there's no pressure to actually have to download the assets out of Microsoft Stream and then put them, for example, in SharePoint and share them that way. So this feature, which is really, I would say, in some ways would complete Stream, is definitely on its way. So returning to the outcomes today, we've covered the why. Why use Teams and Microsoft Stream together? We've discussed this idea of why Teams, or should I say why organizations don't use YouTube. So they want a private video platform, they want a compliant video platform, they want security, they want users to be efficient when using video. They also want people to be able to have equal access and unfettered access to that video. We've also described the benefits of Microsoft Stream. So this is the robustness in terms of the video formats, the fact that it's easily scalable, and the fact to go back and play on this in terms of the security, the security, not just the encryption with Teams, but also the whole Microsoft 365 stack security. Then bringing these two together is really about pivoting from a low utilization to a high utilization. It's not about Teams just recording meetings and then directing to Microsoft Stream. This is about recording video in all sorts of ways and in all sorts of scenarios. It gets housed in Stream, and then we pull all those assets back in to Microsoft Teams where all your users are working. We've looked at the how in the second part. We can do that through Stream channels. We can do that through modern intranet and pulling SharePoint into Teams. With the Stream web part, we've looked at personalized watch lists that we can pin to the left rail of Teams. We've looked at quizzes and series where we're using Microsoft Forms and are really good in training and learning scenarios. We've looked at shared system audio, which allows the playing of video through meetings itself, which makes videos and meetings even more valuable. And we've looked about embedding video within video-based applications using the Power Platform to do that. Last of all, we had a few call outs on future development. We're calling out the ability to record either via the Stream mobile app or the Stream desktop app straight into Stream and then pushing it into Microsoft Teams, and also the ability to enhance the voice and cut out background noise. The future, the thing that we really want to see now, is to be able to share with anonymous users and not have to use public video platforms anymore. So I'd just like to thank you again for all of your time and coming to see my session. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope that by showing you this and demonstrating it, you can go away and get hands-on and then use them inside your organization to raise your return on investment in Microsoft 365, in Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Stream. You can contact me after this session. I'm available, chris.hoard@fusion.cloud. I have a Twitter account and a LinkedIn account. My blog is microsoft365pro.co.uk. In terms of what's next, hopefully I'll be speaking at Ignite again this year, but whether I do or I don't, I'm there for Teams Day Online 2 later on in September, and also Teams Fest at the beginning of October. If you did like this session, then if you could possibly just to ask one thing is to leave speaker feedback and event feedback. This has been an absolutely extraordinary event so far, and the organizers, if they're gonna kind of move forward, they really need to have that feedback and all of the benefits and improvements that you can provide them with. So again, I'd like to say thank you very much, and hopefully this will be the start of you going on and using Stream and Teams in several different ways, because they truly are better together.
Thank you so much. This has been a fabulous presentation. We appreciate all of this knowledge sharing with us. Again, if anyone leaves their feedback, we appreciate that. That'll help us plan with our future events. That's tremendous. Stay tuned for our next presentation. And thank you, Chris, very much.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.